Hey guys, Andy here from Mediocre Hobbies, bringing you some Blood Angels goodness. Games Workshop is very kind to send me out the new Blood Angels army set, which contains an entire host of awesome new Death Company miniatures for the Blood Angels. Inside there are of course Astorath the Grim, Lamarties, and a bunch of different Death Company bits and Blood Angel accessories to have a bit of fun with. And that's what I'm going to do in today's video. I'm going to start off this box set by giving you guys a quick, easy, and accessible way of painting Lamarties. Sorry, Astrorath. Got them mixed up. Astorath the Grim is obviously quite a daunting miniature from first glance, and hopefully in today's video I will show you guys how to break it down to make it a very simple, very easy, very effective paint scheme and get that model on the table in your games very quickly. Before I get into this video, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone out there that supports this channel in every single way. Whether it's simply watching the videos and giving them a like, all the way to the end to those awesome people that support me on Patreon and keep this channel going. So if you want to check out all those different things, make sure like, comment, subscribe. 3 simple little things, makes a huge difference. And Patreon, of course, is linked down below. Okay guys, without further ado, let's dive in and get this awesome Blood Angel model painted up. This is the stunning new Astorath the Grim miniature. I've added a little bit of quirk to his base to make him stand out a little taller because I like miniatures and characters of this kind of caliber to be a little bit more imposing on the battlefield. I've left his head as a separate piece for ease of painting, but other than that, the entire miniature is assembled and ready to begin. The first thing I'm going to do is spray the miniature black, and then I'm going to spray it with a light grey paint over the top of that, and after that it is then ready for contrast. This is what it looks like when I'm finished this spraying process. Now, some of you may be wondering who Astrorath the Grim is, why is he so different to most normal Space Marines, and what is he all about? So Astorath the Grim is a very unique Space Marine character and he has a very unique job. So I'm going to get into that a little bit now and tell you some of Astorath the Grim's background, which is pretty gnarly, pretty sad, but pretty awesome. Astorath the Grim, called the Redeemer of the Lost, is the High Chaplain of the Blood Angel Space Marine chapter. He is tasked with granting the Emperor's peace to all those of his fellow Astartes who bear the gene seed of the Primarch Sanguinius and who have been overcome by the genetic flaw known as the Black Rage. There is no station within the Blood Angels chapter more greatly honoured or more deeply loathed. Honoured for the burden the Redeemer of the Lost bears as he carries out his difficult but necessary duties. Loathed because his duty is stained forever with the blood of his fellow battle brothers. In battle, Astorath is a true angel of death, a somber, axe-wielding figure who shepherds the madmen at his side to a final, meaningful end. So let's talk a little bit about his history. Astorath has the sacred calling to seek out those amongst the scions of Sanguinius whose souls have been claimed by the terrible genetic flaw known as the Black Rage, and whose mental degeneration has become so severe that even an honourable death in battle is no longer possible. His quarry found, Astorath ends his lost brother's battle life with a single mighty blow to the neck, severing his head to thwart the fiendish endurance granted by the Black Rage. This is without a doubt an act of mercy, a gift to the accursed. Nonetheless, no battle brother can ever feel entirely comfortable in Astorath's presence, for they know that the bite of his forbidding axe might one day be the last thing that they feel. Whilst officially bound to the Blood Angels, Astorath's duties carry him far and wide amongst the chapter's successors. It was long ago considered that these terrible duties were best borne by a single Astartes of the Sanguinius line, and thus for at least a single battle brother has been equal to the task at hand. So does Astorath tread the stars, hacking apart those enemies who would prevent him from bestowing his gift of oblivion. To an observer, it might seem that Astorath's presence fanned the destructive fires of the Black Rage. Certainly it was prevalent wherever he treads, and even those Blood Angels who remain sane are unmistakably wilder in the Redeemer's presence. However, the truth is entirely the opposite. Astorath can sense the Black Rage's degenerative onset before it becomes apparent to any other soul, including its victims. Individual afflictions echo through his mind in the form of doom-laden chords and grow ever stronger as other battle brothers fall into the Black Rage's clutches. No separation of distance can serve to mute this dolorous symphony. Whether the victims are fighting on Armageddon or on Ultramar, Astorath can sense the plight and he must go to them as his duty requires. So it is that the Redeemer of the Lost has become a true angel of death, a legend of destruction amongst the Blood Angels, their successor chapters, and their foes alike. Wherever Astorath the Grim treads, the enemy face not only his fury, but the onslaught of Space Marines caught in the twilight shadow of the Black Rage. Astorath's sorrow for his doomed battle brothers serves only to fuel his determination that they shall pass into death having known one last great victory. In this case, he fights like a man possessed, resolute that his twin gifts of death and redemption shall not be denied. And as I've been going through the lore and background of this, I learned of a new squad of Space Marines, or at least in the lore, that I've never heard of before. And I'm blown away by these, and I will 100% be creating a squad of these to use in my army. They are called the Guardians of the High Chaplain. The Erelum are comprised of a choir of 5 Blood Angels chaplains. They vigilantly stand in the shadows, charged with protecting the hidden reclusium of Astorath the Grim on Baal, whose location is only known to the chapter master of Blood Angels and their successor chapters. Stripped of all insignia and adornment, save the chapter symbols emblazoned upon their shoulder plates, they are as dark mirrors to the Sanguinary Guard. They stand in the light of Commander Dante. Even their skull helms have been daubed death black, and their jump packs have been framed by halos of darkest feather. Nothing but the glow of their crimson coloured optics betray them in the half light. So this is a squad of 5 Blood Angels chaplains that basically serve to guard his area. That is just gnarly as all hell. I want to build these. I'm going to use Sanguinary Guard rules for them and have a squad of basically black clad Space Marines to follow around Astorath and Baal. That is awesome. Cannot wait for that. So what equipment and war gear is Astorath actually wielding? So first of all, he has a suit of Artificer armor. Astorath is clad in master crafted crimson colored Artificer armor that has the appearance of exposed striated muscles. The pauldrons and knee pads show a field of skulls. Winged Jump Pack. Astorath wears a modified version of the standard Astartes jump pack that is designed to emulate Sanguinius' own angelic winds. But instead of being angelic white, they are a dark mirror of the Sanguinary Guard's own jump packs, framing the Redeemer of the Lost by a halo of darkest feather. When leaping down from above, it is as if the grim executioner has taken flight on broad angelic wings like an avenging angel of legend, thus striking fear into his foes. The Executioner's Axe. Astorath's axe is crafted to deliver the perfect killing blow. This mighty two-handed master-crafted power axe is so keen it can even slice through power fields. Many consider the blade to be cursed, for it is steeped beyond cleaning in the blood of Sanguinius' sons. Yet it is peerless weapon of mercy and of war. Its cutting edge coated with void, diamond, and sharpened to a monomolecular finish, the haft resembling a human spine. I also was unaware that he had his own personal ship called the Eminence Sanguis. This vessel is the personal transport of High Chaplain of the Blood Angels chapter. Within it contains a chamber for Astorath's sarcophagus. That's pretty cool. There's more things you'll learn about this awesome character. So this is the information that I'm going to give you about Astorath the Grim as it currently stands. As you can see, he's a very unique character. There's not really a role in any other Space Marine chapter that suits him. He is a very unique thing. Everyone has librarians and everyone has chaplains and everyone has this. Everyone has cool, unique chapter masters. But when I say unique, they're just baller combat fighters. You know, this guy has a very special role, traveling the stars between successive chapters and of course between the Blood Angels themselves, seeking out those who are going to fall to the Black Range, and unfortunately, if it is too far gone, he will end their lives there and then. I've read in previous things like their codexes and stuff, all it takes for him is a curt nod and they will lower their head and he will decapitate them right there and then. No ceremony, no nothing. You can't risk them kind of going boogaloo on board a spaceship surrounded by his battle brothers and maybe wounding or killing some of them. So the job is done immediately. If there is time, if they are not too far gone and they are in the middle of a campaign, he will of course round them up, drag them into the Death Company, use them in battle for one last glorious fight where they should hopefully die. If they do not die in that fight, then he will once again have to probably bring down his Executioner's Axe and end their lives. As the miniature goes, you can see that I've gone for a very simplistic way of painting him, as he seems like quite a complicated miniature and I don't want people to fret for him. So after we did the spraying, of course, We applied Flesh Tear's red contrast to pretty much his entire armor, including all the areas that were going to go gold, as red is a beautiful base coat for gold. We then used Black Templars to fill in all the black areas. That was all the soft seals between armor panels, and of course his big glorious wings. We used Skeleton Horde for his knee pads, his shoulder, anything that's supposed to be bone, the haft of his axe obviously, got a coat of Skeleton Horde. And after that it was time to add the gold. So we trimmed the entire armor with gold. And obviously that's a huge part of the model. It's one of the slowest parts of painting him, but it's obviously looks pretty cool. We then use Berserker Bloodshade to shade the miniature down. Why do we use Berserker Bloodshade? It's obviously going to add a really nice tinge to the red armor. It's also going to shade the black and the gold and the metallics with a slight red tinge, which I think feels very Blood Angel. I think every part of it should have that like essence of red, especially for such a kind of like a gore choked character. You'd almost like the blood of his battle brothers has seeped into the very core of his armor, and he can't quite get things to a mirror sheen anymore. They're so permanently stained. After that, and it's all the shade has been dried, we went in the process of layering up. So I went for a simple corn red layer on the armor, the sinewy parts of the armor. You could push this color a little bit further if you so choose. I'm going with some Mephiston red, Evil Sun Scarlet if you want to do a brighter red. I'm doing this guy for my Flesh Tearers, and Flesh Tearers pretty much end with corn red for me. And a little bit of weathering. I want him to blend a little bit more in with them, but I also think it suits his armor quite well. From there, we went through more gas bone and Ushabti bone to layer up all the bone parts, and of course all of the parchment bits on the model, including, like I said, the spinal column that makes up his axe haft. From there, we went to a little bit of Ironbreaker and did some touch highlights on all the gold, and of course highlighted all the metallic areas of the model. From here, Corvus Black was used to highlight the wings, picking out each individual feather, making sure that that nice dark kind of reddy tone stays between all of the wings. And that's very simple stage. You can of course pull the wings up as well. Again, if you want to dry brush over it with a kind of a really light dry brush of like a white or a nice gray to really get those sharp points on the edges, go ahead and do that. That's totally up to you. Corvus Black was of course used for the skin on his, or the hair, sorry, to layer that up. And then we used we used the two different skin tones to layer up his face. Now, technically his face should be a little bit paler. So if you want to go the pallid witch flesh route, and then maybe into a solid white for the tips, you can of course do that. I'm going to add a little bit of like life into it. I'm not going to go quite like rosy. I mean, he's going to be a very pale thing. But the one that they painted up makes him look like white skinned, which, you know, is fine, but not really my style. It's not what I like for them. So I will have it be quite a pale skin, but I won't go as crazy as to add in the white effects to it. After that, we did some Ushabti bone for things like teeth. Got a very fine touch of red or yellow in for his eyes, whatever you so choose. Blood Angel's Rain contrast was then brought in for all of the gemstones. While I was doing the Ironbreaker stage, highlighting up all the gold and silver, wherever there was a teardrop gem, I made sure to get a nice solid coat of silver on that, so that when I went in with the Blood Angel's red contrast after that, I could fill in those gemstones and make it look like gems, if you will. With that, I called it finished, glued his head into place, and have a finished Astorath the Grim miniature painted up, ready to serve alongside my awesome Flesh Tearers army. Here's a couple of brooding still images of the model. Like I said, it's another one ticked off my list. I've got Lamarte's and Dante already painted. Got a couple of other characters to do, but I'm definitely going to do a bunch of Death Company from this box set, including the Dreadnought. Very excited for that as a project. Hopefully you guys are looking to follow along and see it as well. If you are, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of the future uploads of Blood Angel stuff that are coming to the channel very soon. I also have a gripe about the codex, which I may do in a video myself. Okay guys, and there we have it, a finished Astorath the Grim, ready to serve alongside my Flesh Tearers, which is of course what I actually collect when it comes to Blood Angels. Which is why I'm so goddamn annoyed. Where's my Gabriel Seth? I'm not over it yet, but Gabriel Seth is for some reason missing from this codex. I would like to know why. Where's my boy? Who's going to lead my Flesh Tearers in the battle without him? Not happy about this, guys, so what am I going to do? Riot, probably. Okay guys, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more video from this particular box set, make sure you give this video a like. Let me know in the comments below what else from this box set you would like to see. Do you think you need to see a Lamartes? Would you like to see how I would paint Death Company really fast? Or I've got something a little bit extra and special planned for the Death Company Dreadnought, which will include some extra 3D printed parts to make it look a little bit extra. Okay guys, if you enjoyed this, do the usual things, like, comment, and subscribe. You should do that for all creators. If you watch their videos, you like what they do, those 3 things cost you nothing. It takes 2 seconds out of your day and means the world to us and getting our videos pushed out and viewed to more people. So please do that. And if you really like what I do and want to help support it, like I said, Patreon is linked down below. Thank you guys for sticking around at the end of this video. I'll see you in the next one.